Count yourself in again. I liked how you did that. You went 1, 2.
1, 2, 3, 2.
Quentin King, Paul here, Music Villa, downtown Bozeman, Montana, home of Gibson acoustic guitars. And today we're going to compare the new Faded series. This is a Faded J-45 versus, you know, what I always call the standard. What's the tag say?
They call it a standard too.
There you go.
J-45.
Standard J-45. Well, you got originals, standards,
yep.
historics.
Yep.
What else you got? There's all kinds of names for them now, but. In my
retro, vintage, golden era. In
my brain, that's always going to be a standard, and I'm glad it says standard on it. So, the classic J-45. You know, we talked about this. We're going to do a little segment where we're going to compare it, a lot of things to a J-45.
Yeah,
right.
This is going to be a comparison guitar
because it's one of our best sellers in the store, right? For good reason. It's almost like
it's a workhorse.
It is
a
workhorse.
Flagship workhorse.
It is a workhorse. You know, they're actually. I should probably say everyone should own one of those more than I do
the 200
with the J200, but I'm not going to switch up on that now. It's
no,
too late.
You're committed.
I'm committed
Double
to the
down.
J200. That's what I think everyone should own.
What
but
Paul's really trying to say is everybody should own both.
That's true, because the J45 is a classic. No matter what, you hear someone strumming it. Like I hear someone in the store strumming, and they all and then they. It just makes you want to do certain things. Like it really...
Ooh, not that.
Don't do that.
That's the wrongest note you can play.
Play a nice right note, a country. You know, it just has this...
That's what I was trying to play.
There you go. That's a weird note, too.
I know, it's very weird. I'm getting jazzy this morning.
Yeah, you are.
I've only had 4 cups of coffee. Sorry. No, it's
like that kind of stuff right there.
It's got a...
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's the guitar that's launched 1,000 songs.
Exactly.
You know?
It's got songs in it, and you can hear it, and yeah. So anyway, back to the comparison.
But, yeah,
so what we're going to do is compare the classic J45 to the new Faded series J45. Okay. The only difference, the finish is, the color is different, but the finish is that new Faded series.
Right. Thin.
Less coats.
Yep.
It's a thinner, but it's still nitrocellulose lacquer. They just don't have as many coats of lacquer, and they, you know, it's not glossy and
when you
buffed
buff
out.
it, yeah. I mean,
yeah, when you buff the final coats,
it gets shiny and glossy, but you know, it almost looks satiny matte finish. I always say matte. Is that even a thing?
Yeah.
Remember when you used to actually take film and get it developed?
Yeah.
That's how old we are.
Yep.
And those were your choices, glossy
and you have to go to the drugstore and wait.
For a week.
Yep. And then you have to go look through all the alphabetical, find yours.
Back in our day.
Yep.
So, anyway, sorry.
And then the tuners are different on this one too.
Yeah,
you know?
a little bit.
It's more like on the original series.
They look vintagey, classic.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I love the big old stamped serial number on the.
Oh, I know. Me too.
On the back of the wood.
So
That's cool.
we were discussing though. Here's the point. These are both going to be great guitars. We're going to compare them, and we were talking about how we love this thin finish because the guitar, you know. But then all of a sudden you go back to that, and it's kind of like maybe a little bit finer bottle of wine, but it's just different. Like you can't say
it's not a
that
better,
one's better. Like
worse.
This one might be louder and more open and more woody,
more overtony.
But then more overtony. But then you may not like that. It depends on what you're doing. Yeah. But here, let's go to this guy, and then I'll hand you this one back.
I mean, I'm not gonna kick either one of these out of my music room.
Yeah.
And I'm laying back a little bit because I don't want to blow it out. Because this thing will project if I ask it to. I like that sound. It just feels good too.
Yeah.
Now this one, it's different. It's just very different. This sounds more like a J-45.
Okay, now do a little strumming. That's good. Mm-hmm. They're both good.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's a J-45, so it's there's enough low in there to be present and fill it out, but it's not boomy like certain other dreads that you get from other makers. The ones that, you know, again, I'm kind of partial to the boom sometimes, but not all the time. Very present mids and crisp highs.
Yeah.
But I really love this woody sound. I mean, I hear a difference between the two.
Yeah.
And again, it kind of goes back to what we've said before. Like, generally speaking, my impression, and this could be somewhat self-imposed, you know, expectations. I'm biased. I'm actually hearing what I think I should hear. But in any case, what I believe I'm hearing is just a more open and resonant type of guitar, because it's theoretically, I'm guessing it doesn't have to move as much surface area. Now, and you were also saying that, you know, what's unique about these is as opposed to the J-35s.
Yep.
The X brace on this is more of a traditional.
It's just their standard
standard X brace. So, like, you know, you have this, roughly speaking, attachment here, and it'll come down to about here. Whereas if you're on the J-35, it shifts up a little bit to be a little bit more shallow in the angle, and it gives you a little bit more space. But even here on the J-45, it's got some growl.
Yeah.
But, you know,
but the J-35 has
a little more
bass,
a little bit more room because of that, the bracing, which that's what I learned today. That's what I'm going to take home with me.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right.
Really like both of these. You know, I mean, that's a classic.
It is.
But this, again, I think I just really like the wood,
just looks
the woody
classic.
sound.
Yeah,
it looks classic.
Cool.
Both pickups, you know, so it comes ready to plug and play. The new faded model J-45.
Yeah.
And this one, they're calling this the 50s. This is the 50s.
Okay, so
faded.
the 50s. Okay.
So hence the 50s style tuning.
We should have compared it to a 50s.
What were you thinking?
Instead of a standard.
What were you thinking?
Well,
Paul, I expected so much more from you.
The standard is the standard. So why would you
disappointing morning
want to compare it to a 50s? You compare everything to this guitar.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a good way to frame it.
There you go. We'll have to do another
50s
one. We'll compare
or not,
it to the 50s.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Whatever's coming. I mean, we can.
What's the difference? Logo, tuners. Other than that, they're both J-45s.
Black nut versus white nut.
Oh, whoa.
Substantial differences. No. Anyway.
All right. Well, there you have it. That's a faded versus a standard.
A standard, yeah.
Faded 50s,
Faded
J-45
50s.
versus the standard J-45.
There you go.
From Gibson.
Yeah.
New series. Check them out. Music Villa.
I'm digging them.
Cool.
All of the
I am
favorites
too.
we've played.
I like them. Thanks, Quentin.
You bet.
Thanks for watching.